So we're back with the Worst Team series, and you'll have to forgive me for skipping over Ultra Sun and Moon for the time being. I'm just so burnt out talking about Alola. Plus with the Crown Tundra being released 2 weeks ago, it feels like it was the perfect opportunity to get one of the last Sword and Shield related teams out here for you all. Despite all the controversy with Sword and Shield, I feel most people found something to enjoy in these games, and the expansion pass certainly showed that they're improving on the open world environments, so it does make me really excited for the future of Pokemon. Although if it ever goes fully open world, best team is going to be a pain in the ass. But we'll worry about that in like 2023. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and give that classic explanation for people new to the series. Basically, the worst team is a team composed entirely of the worst possible Pokemon in a region, this time being from the Galar region. Now, I won't have 6 Applin or anything absurd like that. It will be a team that is bad, but can still have a shot at actually beating the games. If it sucks and makes you hate me, then I've done my job. As always, I will be providing a moveset for these Pokemon that include TM moves, but will not include post-game tutor moves or egg moves. We will also be going over all of the important battles that these Pokemon can try their best against. Those important trainers consist of all the gym leaders, Champion Cup battles, Champion, Evil Team leaders, and the big boss, Eternatus. So with all that said, let's hop into this worst team. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we can get into the meat and very big bones of this worst team. Starting with the fattest rodent we've seen in quite some time, Greedent. Now, I know what you must be thinking. Mystic, Gigantamax Pikachu is way fatter than Greedent. Yeah, well, imagine being this fat without having to rely on crazy smoke and mirror tricks like growing to a massive size. Sure, Greedent may only weigh like 13 pounds, but that is 13 pounds of just pure lard. Just look at these stats. 120 base HP and 95 base defense screams of having the fat to take hits. It's also got the fat to hit back with base 95 attack, so don't think it's all just eating hits. Though with all this bigness, you have to know that Greedent has base 20 speed, which is by far one of the worst of a fully evolved Pokemon that we've ever seen. Though I guess it's not a bad trade-off when you're able to just take a bunch of hits. You'll be able to find Scovin on Route 1 and evolve it into Greedent at level 24, and it will definitely serve as a cute hunger starter Pokemon for this worst team. Speaking of starters, make sure you pick Sobble. We want to give Hop the best starter after all, because why wouldn't we break the norm with worst teams and make things harder for ourselves? Greedent's moveset is led off by the Stab Body Slam, and then followed up by Brutal Swing, Psychic Fangs, and Ice Fang. Body Slam is going to be learned as Scovit at level 20, and it's a great stab move that has a 20% chance of paralyzing the opponent, which will help nicely with mitigating that awful speed stat. The next move is Brutal Swing, and it's a TM you'll be able to get way early on in your gym challenge in Turffield near Milo's gym. It's got great potential as a coverage move against ghost types, since they can't hit you with stab, and neither can you. Psychic Fangs is next, and that is a TR you'll need to find somewhere in the wild area, either through a Watt Trader or doing some X-Ray battles. I mean, hey, this is a worse team, so why not make it a little bit more challenging? Get out there and track down some moves, guys. You'll really want that one too, just in case you need to defend yourself against some fighting types. Lastly, we have Ice Fang, which is a TM you purchase in the East Hammerlock Pokemon Mart. Alright, so with these moves, Greedent will be able to do well against B's entire team except for Pangoro, but be very cautious, Alistair's entire team, Opal's Weezing, Raihan's Flygon and Sandaconda, Marnie's Toxicroak, B's entire tournament team, but once again be cautious, Alistair's entire tournament team, Raihan's tournament Gudra and Flygon, Oleana's entire team except for Milotic, Leon's entire team except for Charizard, Clara's entire team, Avery's entire team, Mustard's Mienshao, Komodo, and Water-type Urshifu, Peony's Bronzong, and every Calyrex form and the Ghost Horse. Greedent actually gets a lot of nice traction for the kind of Pokemon it is, and covers quite a bit of ground as a normal type, and quite often, it'll be able to pull off that strong Body Slam to do some nice neutral damage. Next up on the team, I decided to go with a grass type to help provide some different kind of coverage, as well as a Pokemon that I'm pretty sure I haven't used on a worse team. I'm talking about Cherrim from Sinnoh. That's right guys, I'm using a Sinnoh Pokemon. That means Diamond and Pearl remakes are in fact confirmed. You can thank me at the end of the video. I don't find Cherrim to be all that good of a Pokemon really, with pretty middle of the road stats like 85 base speed and special attack, which are flanked by ever low stats like 78 special defense and 70 physical. It has no real bulk and only modest power, so it felt like a perfect Pokemon to throw on this team. Plus, it can change from its Overcast form to the Sunshine form, but nothing actually happens. It's purely just an aesthetic change. You'll need to get a Cherubi before you can even sniff Cherrim though, which can be found either in the wild area or on Route 3, both before you even take on Milo. By level 25, you'll have a beautiful flower on your team and some nice grass coverage. Alright, the moveset on Cherrim is Sunny Day, Solar Beam, Energy Ball, and Dazzling Gleam. So Sunny Day is a move I figured made a lot of sense as it'll allow you to see Cherrim in its Sunshine mode, but also activate its ability Flower Gift, which will raise its attack, and more importantly, its special defense in the sun. Next up is Solar Beam, which you'll be able to get as a TM in Turffield after you've upgraded your Rotom Bike for a water usage. Then we have Energy Ball, a TR that you can find in the wild area. Finally, we have one more TR, Dazzling Gleam, which gives Cherrim something else to fight with that isn't a grass type move. And boy is Dazzling Gleam a great option for coverage. So with that nice lineup of moves, Cherrim will be able to do well against Nessa's entire team, Bee's entire team, Alistair's Galarian Yamask, Gordy Stone Jr. and Barbaracle, Melanie's Lapras but watch out, Pierce's entire team except for Skuntank, Ryan's entire team except Duraludon, Marnie's entire team except for Toxicroak, Nessa's tournament Barraskewda, Seaking, and Dreadnought, Bee's entire tournament team, Raihan's tournament Gudra and Flygon, Oleana's Milotic, Leon's Dragapult, Haxorus, and Rhyperior, and Mustard's Mienshao, Lycanroc, Kommo-o, and Urshifu. As we can see, Cherrim definitely has a place of Dazzling Gleam in those grass type moves, and offers great backup to Greedent throughout several important battles. Now let's get to the third member of this team, one that comes to us from the Isle of Armor. You may remember it from the worst team for Black and White too, and if not, allow me to introduce you to Sandslash. No, not the superior Alolan Sandslash, but the plain old everyman from Kanto. Sandslash is rather awful everywhere, except for the physical side of its stats, with an impressive 110 base defense and 100 base attack. Now those stats would be just super great on most Pokemon, but the lack of bulk Sandslash has and its awful speed, it merely feels like a bit of wasted potential. However, we're bringing it on board for this worst team because I think among the bottom of the barrel, it is one of the best. You'll get your hands on a Sandshrew by traversing the warm-up tunnel in the Isle of Armor, and at level 22, you'll have Sandslash. So expect it very early on, just like the other two Pokemon we've talked about thus far. Now, I have no plans to include a Pokemon with Sandstorm on this team, but don't worry, I'm sure through either Dynamaxing or perhaps the battle with Raihan during the 8th Gym Challenge, you'll find a way to take advantage of either Sand Rush or Sand Veil. The name of the game of Sandslash is Coverage, and its moveset really boasts that. We've got Earthquake, Shadow Claw, Gyro Ball, and Stone Edge. So Earthquake will be most likely attained as a TR in the wild area, unless you feel like waiting until level 61 to learn it. Your options while you try to find it are limited, but I'd suggest using Dig or Bulldoze, as they're both learned by level up. Shadow Claw is a TM you'll get from beating Alistair, and will serve as a nice bit of coverage. Next we have Gyro Ball, learned to level 46, though it is also a TR you could end up getting your hands on before then. Finally, we've got Stone Edge, and just like Arizo said during our final best team for Sword and Shield last week, you just can't have a ground type Pokemon without some sort of rock type move, and Stone Edge is definitely the best you can get. Sandslash is going to do its best with Nessa's Dreadnought, but be careful. Kabu's entire team, Alistair's Mimikyu and Gengar, Opal's entire team, Gordy's entire team, Melanie's entire team, but watch out for all that ice, Pierce's Skuntank, Ryan's Gigalith and Duraludon, Marnie's Toxicroak, Morpeko and Grimmsnarl, Hop's Pinkerton and Cinderace, Bede's entire team, Marnie's tournament Golisopod, Pelipper, and Dreadnought, but once more be careful, Alistair's entire tournament team, Raihan's tournament Torkoal, Turtonator, and Duraludon, Oleana's Frostlass, Salazzle, and Garbodor, Cherrim Rose's Persiger, Klinklang, and Copperajah, Leon's Aegislash, Rhyperior, and Charizard, Clara's entire team, Avery's entire team, Mustard's Luxray and Lycanroc, Peony's entire team except for Scizor, and every Calyrex form as well as both horse Pokemon. My god, that was a lot. And as a matter of fact, that was every single major battle in Sword and Shield except for Milo. Sandslash sinks its claws into everyone in Galar, and that is nothing short of incredible, considering this is not a best team. Maybe I made a mistake. Nah, no way. Those stats just prove it's trash, no doubt. So let's get started on the second half of the team with a much needed water type, Johto's Qwilfish. I know there are probably quite a few of you that aren't happy of seeing Qwilfish on a worse team, considering its typing and all that. But if you take a look here at the stats, it becomes clear that while it's got decent speed and a nice physical duo of 95 attack and 85 defense, it's got no bulk to speak of and will find itself being bodied by many electric types, with their usually special type attacks. Sure, maybe I could have gone with one or two other Pokemon, but honestly, the water typing is incredibly well represented with good Pokemon in Galar, so Qwilfish was definitely one of the worst options. Where can you get one though? Well, in the later game in the wild area, Qwilfish is going to be the Pokemon you definitely get the latest on this team, and that'll help make things only harder for this horse team. You can fish it up and get it at around level 40, so around the time you get ready to face off with Opal. Well, that isn't so late, but it definitely would have been nice to have against the first 4 leaders. Anyways, let's check out the moves. Poison Jab, Liquidation, Ice Beam, and Scale Shot are the moves that Qwilfish is using as a member of this worst team. Poison Jab is probably already going to be on it when you capture Qwilfish, since it's learned at level 40, so that'll be there right off the bat. We need more stab though, and we've got it with Liquidation, the premier physical water type move. You'll have to get your hands on the TR for it, whether that be from a Watt Trader or a max raid battle. Then we have Ice Beam, another TR you'll need to find, but once you have it, you'll be happy to have gotten it. Finally there's Scale Shot, and that needs to be gotten on the Isle of Armor by trading some Amorite ore to the move tutor in the dojo. Remember, you'll need to complete Mustard's first trial in order to get access to the tutor, but it's definitely worth it just to have a little more coverage for any dragon types that aren't weak to ice. So with these moves, Qwilfish will be able to do well against Opal's entire team except for Mawile, Gordy's entire team, Ryan's entire team except for Duraludon, Marnie's Grimmsnarl, Hop's Cinderace, Bede's entire team except Mawile, B's Tournament Hawlucha, Alistair's Tournament Chandelure, Ryan's entire team except for Duraludon, and look, Scale Shot comes in clutch against Turtonator. Continuing on, Oleana's Serena and Salazzle, Leon's entire team except for Aegislash, Avery's Swoobat, Mustard's Lycanroc and Komodo, Peony's Aggron, and Calyrex's regular form. Qwilfish brings the heat against Leon, which is a pretty big deal considering he's a champion. It'll definitely have its time to shine in your playthrough. Let's talk about the penultimate Pokemon for this team. One that will be bringing the coverage for what we have left, Pangoro. This thug of a panda is the hardest hitting Pokemon on this team, but quite frankly, that is all it is capable of doing. It can hit stupid hard with 124 base attack, but its speed is bad, its defenses are lackluster, and honestly, it fits in perfectly with the philosophy of this worst team. We've got plenty of physical attackers, so why not rock out with another one? Pancham can be seen trolling around Route 3, so it's yet another Pokemon you'll be capturing early on. Once you got it, you'll be waiting until level 32 to evolve into the Pangoro you're looking for. It's got some nice abilities by the way, as you might be working with one that is either Iron Fist or Mold Breaker. You're good regardless of either, but I definitely look for an Iron Fist Pancham, as that's what I built this moveset thinking about. The moveset Pangoro has is Drain Punch, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, and Crunch. So Drain Punch has gotten in Winden as a TM, so you'll have to use one of the many different level up options Pangoro gets for a fighting type move until then. Fire Punch and Thunder Punch are also gotten in Winden, which means you'll be going a while without them too, but that's alright. Finally, we have Crunch, and that is learned at level 35, and it will be a great dark type move to turn to, but it's also the only move not boosted by Iron Fist. So with these moves, Pangoro will be able to do well against Ness's Dreadnought, Beast Pangoro, Alistair's entire team except for Mimikyu, Gordy's entire team except for Shuckle, Melanie's entire team except for Frostmoth, Pierce's Scrafty and Obstagoon, Ryan's Gigalith and Duraludon, Marnie's Liepard, Scrafty, and Morpeko, Hop's Dubwool, Corviknight, and Snorlax, Bede's Mawile, Ness's entire tournament team, B's Tournament Hawlucha, Alistair's entire tournament team, Ryan's Tournament Duraludon, Oleana's Frostlass, Serena, and Milotic, Trim and Rose's entire team, Leon's entire team except for Haxorus, Clara's entire team except for Weezing, Avery's entire team, Mustard's Corviknight, Lycanroc, and Urshifu, Peony's entire team, and all of Calyrex's forms and both horses. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but with that, I'm pretty sure we've got a check for every single Pokemon that possible opponents can send out in a playthrough for these important battles. I guess that means we don't need a 6th Pokemon because we've got it all handled. Alright guys, well, thanks for watching, and oh, wait a second. We don't have anything from Milo? Really? The first gym leader is the only thing we don't have anything for? Alright, well, I guess I'll need to look around. Let's see. Oh god, this thing. Alright, here we go. Okay, so I figured we could probably use a Bug-type Pokemon. The only problem is, I find Sandascorch and Orbeetle to be pretty good, so it can't be either of them. So why don't we use Crustle? We'll have to head on over to the wild area for this one, where you can find a Dwebble waltzing around. Then, once you capture it, you'll be using it until level 34, where it'll evolve into Crustle. Crustle has great attack and defense, which is very much in line with the rest of the team, but its other stats are really not good, as one would probably figure out, considering it's on a worse team. This isn't even the first time we've seen Crustle on a worse team either, so it's used to this. Alright, so we've got Shell Smash, X-Scissor, Rock Slide, and Earthquake for moves on this Crustle. Shell Smash is a setup move learned at level 50, so it's going to be a big one to pull out during the Champion Cup. X-Scissor is learned at level 38. It can also be found as a TR, so you could actually have access to it as early as your battle with Milo. However, if you don't have it that early, you'll still have Bug Bite, which will work just as well. The next one is Rock Slide, which is Stab, and learned at level 24. And finally, we have Earthquake. Much like of Sandslash, however, if you don't want to find two, you can always use the TM for Bulldoze instead, which you can find in the wild area. Now, with these moves, Crustle will be able to do well against Milo's entire team. Honestly, I could probably stop there, as it guarantees us that we can handle every single trainer, but I'll just keep going anyway. It can do well against Ness's Dreadnought, Kabu's entire team, Alistair's Gengar, Opal's Mawile and Togekiss, Gordy's entire team, Melanie's entire team, Pierce's entire team except for Scrafty, Ryan's Gigalith and Duraludon, Marnie's Liepard, Toxicroak, and Morpeko, Hop's Pinkerchin and Cinderace, Bede's Mawile, Ness's Tournament Gliscopod, Pelipper, and Dreadnought, Alistair's Tournament Chandelure and Gengar, Raihan's Tournament Torkoal, Turtonator, and Duraludon, Oleana's entire team except for Milotic, Rose's Persiker, Klinklang, and Copperajah, Leon's Aegislash, Rhyperior, Rillaboom, and Charizard, Clara's entire team except for Weezing, Avery's entire team, Mustard's Lycanroc, Peony's entire team except Scizor, and finally, Calyrex in its ice form, as well as the Ice Horse. Wow, I guess Crustle is more than just a check from Milo after all. Jeez. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for this worst team. It's honestly super impressive what this team was able to accomplish, handling every single Pokemon thrown its way. I'm not sure if you'll ever see as good of a team called the worst team ever again, but honestly, who knows? Let me know down below though what you guys think about this team and how using this team works out for you if you decide to use it. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream all sorts of games from Pokemon to Fire Emblem to Zelda and much more. I also have an anime channel called MysticSage where I do anime reviews, rankings, and countdowns, so if you're interested in that kind of content, go ahead and check that out as well. If you want to support me even further and gain cool perks, check out my Patreon. These lovely people have all given me their support over there and I couldn't be more grateful to them. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mystic Umbreon and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.